on stage is CJ Smith, full name Castorina Smith, but I think everybody knows her as CJ. I'm just going to share a quick story about me and CJ. I met CJ a year ago at the ATA in Adelaide, and when we had a chat, she wasn't involved in any women's associations, and there was a bit of a negative rhetoric around it, and I was like, no, you've got the wrong idea. Let me introduce you to Tall. These ladies are amazing, I promise you. And she was like, I don't know. And so to have CJ coming along today and speaking to us, I'm quite proud of. And JJ Transport, my family business, Mum's up the back there, flew CJ in for this event, so we're very happy to have her along. After this, I'll give the plug now because otherwise I'll forget, but after this, CJ is selling some merch, hats, books. I have 3 of her books. I bought them for all my nieces and nephews. Is that my auntie? I'm sure CJ will get into it a bit more. And I'll just give her a quick bio quickly. So CJ, for those who don't know, is an Australian truck driver, content creator, and industry advocate, known for her platform, Truckin' CJ. After transitioning from a corporate career in 2016, CJ pursued her passion for transport and now holds a multi-combination licence, DG accreditation, operating some of the largest road trains in Australia. CJ's built a highly engaged online community of over 270,000 followers, where she shares authentic insights into life on the road, promotes road safety and highlights career opportunities within the transport industry. In 2026, she's partnered with Scott Taylor Motorsport, transporting Porsche race cars across the country while continuing to attend events and speak publicly. So please join me for a warm welcome to CJ Smith.
Thank you.
Press the button and then it'll go.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I don't need to do my speech now. Caitlin covered everything. Okay, so which one was it, sorry? This one?
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, how did you
Okay.
do that? I've been trying to do
I'm a professional, guys. I swear I'm a better truck driver than a...
No, that's okay.
Oh, there it is. All right. So hello, my name's Kajarina, and it's an absolute honour to be here in Melbourne with all of you this weekend. So when I was asked to come along and share my story, if I'm honest, I was hesitant because I didn't feel like there was anything special about my story. But upon reflection, I realised something. The things we live every single day don't feel extraordinary to us, but other people, it might be the story you need to hear, and it might be exactly what they need to hear or the permission that they've been waiting for to change their own life. And for me, that moment started about 10 years ago when I made a decision that completely changed the direction of my life. I grew up on a farm, so from a young age, hard work wasn't optional, it was just a way of life. At 19, I moved into a corporate career as an insurance broker, and I spent 7 years in that space. I was doing well, I was winning awards like Young Insurance Professional of the Year. So from the outside, it made sense that I would stay. I had what looked like a perfect life. I was in a long-term relationship, I had a successful corporate career. Sorry. And I literally had a white picket fence. My partner at the time was a person who encouraged me into that world, and he told me that driving trucks was a dead-end job. And I listened, even though I never ever wanted to work into an office. I'm sure that there's people in this room who have felt that, right? Everything looks right on paper, but something doesn't feel right. My strength has always been working with people, building relationships, having real conversations. When I had my own portfolio, I was thriving. But as I progressed throughout my career, I found myself stepping sideways into roles that I was doing less of that. There was more admin, more paperwork, the things that didn't energise me. And over time, I started to disconnect. So when I decided to make the decision to leave, I left the corporate world, I left my long-term relationship, and I left a whole life that looked so perfect on paper. And I stepped into something completely different. I moved from I moved home and started driving concrete trucks with my sister. I went from a structured 9 to 5, from starting from 2 a.m. some days to finishing at 9 p.m. other days, long hours, unpredictable schedules, shift work and fatigue. Most people thought I was crazy, but I felt more alive than I had in years. And something else really surprised me. I found myself earning more as a concrete truck driver than I ever did in my corporate career, even with bonuses. And for the first time in my career, I was earning the same, doing the same role as a man. In the corporate world, success was tied to KPIs that weren't always in your control. But in transport, the harder I worked, the more I earned. It was simple, it was direct, and it made sense to me. So I started pushing, upgrading my licenses, backing myself to learn more. I moved from HR, driving concrete trucks, to HC, running truck and dog tippers, and then to my MC, driving fuel tankers and gaining my dangerous goods license. And every time I stepped up, I went from being confident to being the least experienced person in the room again. Our industry's like that, right? You start to get an ego and you'll quickly be humbled. And that's uncomfortable, but that's also where growth happens. But I want to be honest with you. This journey hasn't always been easy. There has been real self-doubt, years of shift work and fatigue that grinds you down, managers who didn't support me, having been pushed and pushed and pushed to be given opportunities that I desperately wanted, colleagues talking behind my back, people who made me uncomfortable by the fact that I was thinking bigger, trying to learn more, trying to help others do the same. And I'll be honest about something else. Simply being a woman in this industry at times has felt like a burden. I spent years not just wanting to be equal, wanting to be one of the boys, avoiding drawing attention to my gender wherever possible, never wanting special treatment out of fear that my workmates would turn on me. I'm getting emotional because I don't ever talk about that. And the reality of this job, the unglamorous reality that we don't often talk about, is that there's still places I've worked where there's no toilets for women, doors with no locks, sometimes no handles, women's toilets used as storage rooms, no sanitary bins, no privacy. And out on the road, nothing, not even a tree to hide behind. I've used contraception for years to suppress my cycle, just to reduce the added burden of the job. We don't talk about these things, but maybe we should. But today, I hold a multiple combination license and a dangerous goods license, one of the highest and most sought after license combinations in Australia. This career gave me flexibility to work overseas. I've spent time living in Canada, and what surprised me, as much as I loved it, I couldn't wait to come home because I realised how much I genuinely loved what I was doing. I love driving trucks. And throughout all of it, I've noticed something. People are very quick to put you in a box. If you're good at something, they want to keep you there. I was a really good concrete truck driver, and there was people that didn't want me to leave that. But I didn't want to stay the same. I wanted to learn more, do more, and see what I was capable of. So I wasn't running away from anything. I was leveling up. And while I was at Liberty, driving fuel tankers, something happened that I'm incredibly proud of, and I didn't think about that until this weekend. We were going through an EBA, so an enterprise bargaining agreement, and I was sitting in a toolbox meeting, reading through the document, and I noticed something was missing. There was no pregnancy clause. I was the only female driver in the country for that company, and if I was to fall pregnant, there'd be no protection for me. So I raised it in front of everyone. And the male managers looked at me and said, "You'll be right, CJ." And I said, "Nah." I didn't let it go. I pushed, I made them think about it, and I made them take it further. And I'm really proud that it got included. Any female driver would be allowed to continue her driving role until she was unable to do so, a decision between her and her doctor. And at that point, the company was required to find a safe alternative role with no reduction in pay and at the same protection when she returned from maternity leave. I didn't do that for me. I did that for whoever came next. And looking back now, about 10 years ago, I walked away from a life that looked perfect on paper and remember thinking, did I just set my life backwards? And I'm standing here now, I can see that wasn't me falling behind, that was me changing direction. And about a year ago, it happened again. From the outside, everything looked good. But behind the scenes, I was burnt out and I was really sick. And I was trying to keep everything going without letting anyone down. And I think a lot of us do that. We keep pushing, we keep showing up, even when we know something isn't right. So I made what I thought was a safe decision and I stepped back. I went casual and I tried, and before I knew it, that safety net was gone. I found myself unemployed. No structure, no guaranteed income, and honestly, I was terrified. I remember thinking, what does my life even look like now? And that's when the self-doubt really kicks in. I even had someone say, if you're not driving these trucks, no one's gonna watch you anymore. So I started to question everything, and for a moment I believed it. And I had to make a decision. Do I go back to what felt safe? Or do I back myself? I've come to realize that feeling now. It's not falling apart. It's the moment right before you back yourself into something better. Because what I haven't mentioned yet is that a couple of years before that, I already started building something on the side. While I was working full-time in the mines, I was reinvesting everything I earned into my own company and was just living off my income driving. At the time, it didn't feel like anything big. It just felt like I was slowly working towards something. So when I found myself without that full-time role, I wasn't starting from zero, but I was being forced to finally step into something I had only been building on the side. And that was still scary. Because there's a big difference between having something on the side to relying on it fully. But what I've come to realize is every step along the way has mattered. My corporate background taught me how to communicate, how to present myself, how to build relationships, and all of those skills show up in what I do today, so nothing has been wasted. I want to say something about the people in your corner, because doing this job, being away for weeks or months at a time, it asks a lot of the people who love you. A few weeks ago, I found out that the partner, the ex, from the beginning of the story, he follows me now. He's the one that told me that trucking was a dead end. He reached out to me to tell me he was wrong. He works in logistics, but from the white collar side, and he told me that he was proud of me. That meant more than I expected it to. And then there's my current partner. I met him at a truck show. Like most good men in my life, he was a friend at first. He stayed that way for over a year. Consistently showing up through his actions, he showed me what kind of man he is. With time, he became my partner. When you do this job, you need someone who is genuinely secure, someone who never makes you feel bad for working away, for the friendships that you build on the road, for being out of contact when you're on site. But he has never once made me feel guilty for any of that, and I don't take it for granted. One of the things I've struggled with most in this last year is answering a really simple question. What do you do? For a long time, that was easy. I would say, I'm a truck driver. And people understood that. But now, what I do doesn't fit in a box anymore. And I'll be honest, that has been really uncomfortable. But what I've realized is, just because something is hard to explain doesn't make it any less real. It just means that you stepped outside of what people used to seeing. So these days, people often ask me what I actually do now, and the truth is, at my core, I'm still a truck driver. That's what grounds me, and it is still my favourite thing to do. I still get behind the wheel whenever I can, whether it's driving fuel tankers or running a Kenworth T999 race transfer for Scott Taylor Motorsport, which has my name on it. And what that's allowed me to do is expand beyond driving. I now show up in schools, in communities, as a kind of role model I wish I had at the beginning of my career. I have written and self-published my first children's book. I run my own business and I work on campaigns that promote safety and opportunity in this industry. And what I've realised is I'm not working in the industry anymore. Sorry, I'm not just working in the industry anymore, I'm advocating for it. And everything I've described is built through a business I created called Trucking with CJ. That business is supported by a community of over 270,000 people. And for me, it's never been about influence, it's been about impact. I don't see myself as an influencer, but I see myself as an ambassador for this industry and someone who has a responsibility to represent it well. And with that comes responsibility, because when people are watching, listening and learning from you, you have the opportunity to shape how they see themselves and what they believe is possible. Everything I've shared today, the risks, the decisions, the growth, is what's shaped this journey. And you've been watching it the whole time. If there's one thing I've learned, is that the path that looks the safest isn't always the right one for you. And the moments that feel like you're falling behind are often the ones that are actually moving you forward. I spent years trying not to be seen as a woman in this industry, just trying to be equal, just to do the work. But everything I'm most proud of, the EBA clause, the community, standing here today, came from showing up as exactly who I am, all of it. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing to back yourself and be willing to do the work. Because there's real pride in hard work and there's real opportunity in this industry if you're willing to step into it. Thank you. Yeah. Is there any questions?
Okay. Spider.
I'd like to make a comment. I probably don't need the microphone. I've been a manager with some big companies, Brambles and all the rest of it, and I've employed many women over the years. And the one thing that sort of, and it's quite controversial probably what I'll say, but I've thought about women and all the rest of it, and I've said to many of them, look, unfortunately we're in a men's environment. Many of the places you go to don't have a toilet or anything like that, and that's obviously what I thought of. One of the little clips that CJ did one time was about women in their period. And I'd never, ever thought of that.
He's a father with 2 daughters.
Yeah.
But I never thought of that in the industry, I thought of toilets and all the rest of it, but that's one thing that really made me think. And well done.
Thank you. I lost followers over that post, but it's interesting. There's a fantastic company in Tasmania that's made from 2 electricians who are making these sanitary packs. It's called Go Company, and I suggest you look into it. And they're talking to the men in trades and saying, hey, there's this really discreet little pack, you can have it in all your glove boxes of all your cars, because sometimes women get caught out and it's everyone's responsibility to show up for us, right? It's not just, why is our burden always just on us to do that? So they're doing fantastic things. They've been in government, and I'll be catching up with them when I'm in Tasmania in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't heard of them before, I definitely recommend you go look into that. Thank you. Hello.
Hello again. I just want to say I know how tough that was for you. We've talked about this quite a bit over the last sort of 24 hours, and that was amazing.
Thanks.
One of the most amazing things that happened was that incredible woman over there walked over there.
I know.
You thought you were struggling, but you gathered yourself and you did it. That's 10 out of 10. Good job.
Thank you so much.
We're talking about the realities of being a woman on the road, and I still think we should be sponsored by Bodybuilding. I think that is such a thing for us to be done. And for those of us that have had babies and gone back in the truck, that's a whole other level. I just want to say, job well done for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Doesn't matter what happens. You're a good thing, and stick with it.
Thank you so much.
can say I'm so goddamn proud of you. You know, standing up there, sharing your story. I can really feel you, so
Oh, thank you.
thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
Anything I can say, CJ, you defy me. I figure you're about 19 and then you say...
Yeah, I'm 36 and I'm proud of that.
Question.
Hi CJ.
Hello.
Jackie from Cummins, we have met.
Yes, we have.
I wanted to, so I'm in a corporate world, obviously, and I grew up on a farm, so and we still have the family farm, so I see both sides. But moving from a white collar to a blue collar world, how did you transition and what were the biggest challenges?
Well, the best, I was thinking about this the other day, is that one of the best things was that I didn't have to choose what I had to wear every day. I just picked up the same uniform every day, and so that was great. And I actually found the transition incredibly easy. I've never ever looked back at going back to the white collar space at all. I instantly felt like I gained a huge family by going on the road. All my colleagues were just great mates and uncles and new cousins, kind of, you know, brothers and stuff. I guess the hardest thing was learning to have inconsistent work hours, especially doing concrete. So say you finished work and you went out for dinner with your friends, and then you look at your phone for your start time and you've got to start at 2 a.m. and you're like, I have to go, you know, and people just didn't understand that. And so the inconsistent work hours was really tough. I got contact dermatitis because I was working with silica dust, and so my hands and my neck all cracked open. Something that but I came from insurance, and that's a male populated industry as well. I never used male dominated because that means that they're dominating us. Populating means, you know, it just means that there's more men, and that's a term I use a lot. So it's a shift of perspective, right? Like we're not changing it, we're just shifting the way we see it. So it's a positive instead of a negative. But I came from insurance where, you know, we didn't earn the same as a man in the same role. So going to trucking, I was really proud that we earned the same. But the biggest thing is that I wanted to keep improving and I wanted to keep pushing myself. And they're like, CJ, the grass isn't greener. Just stay there. You're doing a good job. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want to drive that. And so I would go and upgrade my license myself and stuff like that. So a lot of pushback from people because they're like, oh, you're just money hungry, or you just want things that, you know, you just want to drive something. And I'm like, no, I actually want to be more. So I found in this industry, people just want to keep you in that box because it's safe for them. Because they're like, well, I don't want to have to retrain someone to do that same role. I've kind of gone off on a tangent, which is what I do when I don't have a script. So I hope I answered your question.
That's fine. Another question? Not a question, just a little plug. Plug for CJ's book. I would just encourage everybody to go and buy 3 or 4, half a dozen of CJ's books and hand that to your local library, your local primary schools. They love them, but it's also a way of that gentle brainwashing. At a young age, getting them into our industry. It's a great book and they love
Thanks.
it. The schools love it. So yeah.
Well, I guess that gives me a little opening, Jenny. Thank you. Jenny has been one of my biggest customers, so thank you. I just want to, while I've got a second, I know everyone wants to go get lunch, but let me just talk you through this book for a second. So Erin and I have gone through to quite a few bookstores and noticed that there's not really any literature about trucks. If anything, it's like, oh, look at that digger, or that's a truck. And there's not really a storyline behind it or humanising the experience. And we've got to recognise that everyone that drives a truck is a person, it's a family member. There's people that care about them. So obviously I thought about this book when I was driving, and I've got lots more up here. So the more you buy, then the next one can come out, okay, guys? Because this is self-funded. But so what I did is I went out to my Instagram community and subtly was just asking in my stories, hey, like, is there any concrete truck drivers here? Can you send me a photo of your truck? No context. And everyone was like, sure. And what I did is I collated all these images, and then I went to an illustrator and I gave him the photos, and I'm just going to show you a few pages. So for example, this is the opening page because every kid loves a garbage truck. It's the first truck they probably come across, right? They hear it. Aaron's favourite truck as a kid, apparently he was talking about the garbage truck before he could talk. That's from his mum. And so here, it's like, is that my auntie's truck? No. That's Lee. We're identifying who the person is. He's just a human and he's got a name, and he's driving a garbage truck. So that is what the truck is. But the garbage truck is it's collecting our rubbish. So we're identifying who the person is. what the truck's called and what it's doing. And so throughout the book, it goes through all the different trucks. We've got Hutchie here. Hutchie's driving a concrete truck, but he's delivering the concrete for the paths that we walk on, right? And so I've tried to make it inclusive. Every truck driver looks different. This one's based on, my sister runs concrete plants. She started as a truck driver around the same time I did, and Hutchie is one of her most beloved truck drivers, so we decided to dedicate him to that page. And so we go through, we've got Aaron's here. We called him Joey because that's his middle name. And that's his old truck. And so there's Joey in the B double. We're identifying it's a B double. And he's delivering all the fresh fruit to the market because kids love fruit. And so we're identifying, it didn't just get there like that, it came on a B double. So I'm hoping that when kids are driving down their road, they can name the truck, but also what it does. So we go out throughout the book. There are a couple of girls. I only didn't put many because there's not many of us, so I tried to keep it realistic. But you know, we've got Fiona. I tried to pick wanted a redhead, freckles, Scottish girl, so I went through Scottish names, and we had Isla, but then when I wrote it, I'm like, oh, that really is confusing to read, so we named her Fiona. So, you know, and the feedback, the videos I get from families and people reading it means a lot. So I hope I can do more in that space. I'm not very smart, but, you know, I'm a truck driver and I'm living the experience, so hopefully we can continue to do more. So I bought a limited amount, so if you guys want to support it, that would be great. But yeah.
And I'm sure you'll sign them.
Maybe.
You might have one more, but my question is, what do you think, and what's your perspective now after all?
Oh, it's been great. So I'm really grateful. Thank you. Because it's really hard speaking in front of a group of people who are really passionate about this, but I've been in this industry 10 years and I've actively avoided women things because of the fear of how my colleagues will treat it, because the outside perspective of a women's only organisation isn't correct, and I've been wrong. But hopefully with my platform, I'm live streaming this right now on Instagram, and I hope that people can see that these organisations are very inclusive. Although there's a lot of women in here, men have a seat here too, and so it's just about sharing stories so that people are more aware, more educated. So I hope that we can continue to grow this, and thank you for giving me a space here today.
No, that's
Thank you. You did so well.